So welcome everyone to the first event of the University of San Francisco 2015-16 academic calendar of the Swig program in Jewish Studies and Social Justice, where tonight we will hear from Miss Vanessa Hidary. Founded in 2008, the USF Jewish Studies and Social Justice program is the first and only program in the history of the United States formally linking Jewish studies with social justice. In addition to offering numerous courses related to this interdisciplinary field, our program offers a minor in Jewish Studies and Social Justice, as well as a number of annual events, a fall speaker series related to Jewish identities, a spring social justice lecture, a spring human rights lecture, and a spring social justice Passover Seder. In addition, in partnership with a number of different Bay Area-based organizations, we also offer unique educational programs related to ways to end and transform ethnic and national conflicts, such as our Beyond Bridges summer program, which takes place in Israel and Palestine, which we are re-offering this coming up summer, and which the director, Oren Kroll-Zeldin, is in our midst, and he's, a number of you already know him. This fall, in addition to tonight's exciting event, we have 3 other JSSJ events planned. First, all of them are on Thursday night, 6:30 here. So that simplifies it. 2 weeks from tonight, on Thursday, October 1st, Oakland-based activist, artist, performer, playwright, and scholar Ariel Lucky will perform a one-person play focused on raising awareness about the many injustices surrounding race and immigration. Called Amnesia, the show integrates theater, dance, spoken word, and an original score inspired by hip-hop, klezmer, and Mexican folk music, while telling the story of a family's migration from a small Jewish village in Eastern Europe through New York City's Lower East Side to Phoenix, Arizona, only to find that the identity-based violence his family fled cannot easily be so forgotten. 2 weeks later, Thursday, October 15th, 6:30 p.m., we will premiere Little White Lie, a powerful documentary film telling the life story of Lacey Schwartz, who grew up in a typical upper-middle-class Ashkenazi Jewish household in Woodstock, New York, with loving parents and a strong sense of her Jewish identity, despite the open questions from those around her about how a white girl could be so dark. When her parents abruptly divorce, her gut starts to tell her something about a potential African-American heritage that she didn't know about, which sends her down a fascinating journey through her multi-dimensional past. Following the film's screening, Lindsay Newman, a Jew of color and program manager at B'chol Lashon, a local Jewish not-for-profit organization working towards societal, ethnic, cultural, and racial inclusiveness, will lead us in a discussion about the film. And last but not least, on Thursday, October 29th, also at 6:30, we're going to show another documentary film called Saved by Language. It tells the story of Morris al-Bahari, a Sephardic Jew from Sarajevo, born in 1930, who spoke Ladino, a Judeo-Spanish dialect, his mother tongue, to survive the Jewish genocide of World War II. Following our simultaneous showing of this film with English subtitles in this room and Ladino subtitles in the Xavier room, which, if you understand Spanish and read Spanish and Spanish Studies program and Salasa and a number of other like-minded programs are promoting that, you will be able to understand through that language. Thereafter, we'll all join in here with the filmmaker and director, Susanna Zareski, with a special Q&A about the film. Flyers regarding these 4 amazing events can be found up there, where there's also a list for our Jewish Studies and Social Justice listserv. So now let's begin tonight's program officially. For much of recorded history, human beings have been grappling with ideas such as right and wrong, justice and injustice, and responsibility. From Adam and Eve to the late Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, these issues continue to play a central role in many of our lives today, whether in San Francisco or Damascus, New York City, or Jerusalem. For Abraham Joshua Heschel, one of the greatest modern-day prophets of the Jewish community of the last century, social justice is about the balance between one's individual identity and one's human identity. Tonight's speaker epitomizes this tension. Someone who lives and identifies as a Jew and as a human being, someone who has insight into the ever-changing notion of social identities, far beyond most of our own understandings. Miss Vanessa Hidary, native New Yorker, aka the Hebrew Mamita, grew up on Manhattan's culturally diverse Upper West Side, graduating from LaGuardia High School of the Arts and Hunter College. Her experiences as a Sephardic Jew with close friends from different ethnic and religious backgrounds inspired her to write one of her first acclaimed nationally toured solo shows, Culture Bandit, which chronicles her coming of age during the golden era of hip hop and her dedication to fostering understanding and friendship between all peoples. Culture Bandit was originally produced by Labyrinth Theater Company, whose artistic directors were John Ortiz and the late Philip Seymour Hoffman. This solo show has since played as part of famous festivals around the country and beyond. She has also aired 3 times on Russell Simmons Presents Def Poetry Jam on HBO, and is featured in the acclaimed short film, The Tribe, which has appeared at Sundance, among other festivals. She's performed in countries around the world, from Canada to South Africa, England to Poland. Some of her positive press coverage include reviews in the New York Post, Time Out New York, The Jewish Week, The Forward, The Los Angeles Times, The Jerusalem Post, and Lilith Magazine. The author of a collection of poems and short stories titled The Last Kaiser Roll in the Bodega, Vanessa is currently developing and directing a performance production called Kaleidoscope, a multimedia project and monologue showcase highlighting Jews of diverse racial and ethnic backgrounds and observance levels. Jews identifying as Moroccan, Jamaican, Ethiopian, Libyan, Panamanian, Puerto Rican, and more, all in a challenge and embrace of a question core to our own Jewish Studies and Social Justice program: what does Jewish look like to you? Please join me in welcoming Vanessa.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good. You guys can give me a little bit more excitement. How's everybody doing? Good. I love having my bio read, because then I actually feel like I've done something with my life. I was like, yeah, I did do something. I think I need to hear that every morning. Thank you. So thank you so much for coming. How many of you were in the class this morning when I came and spoke? Okay. Thanks for coming again to hear me. And so a little bit about myself. My name is Vanessa. I was born and raised on the Upper West Side. Any New Yorkers here? Oh, okay, a few. And for me, my neighborhood growing up was always a very mixed neighborhood. All my friends were of all different backgrounds. And I never thought it was really a big deal until I started leaving my neighborhood and traveling all over the country and realizing that that was a really special experience. So when I started writing poetry, the very first poem that I wrote started like this. Baruch Atah Adonai, Viva Puerto Rico, Haolam, Hamotzi, fight the power, Mein Haaretz, Amen. And so that was my little Hebrew Mamita prayer to represent my neighborhood and to represent all these different cultures that were around me. So I'm going to start this evening with a piece that was on it. Any of you guys seen Def Poetry Jam on HBO? Okay. Well, it hasn't been on for a very long time. But it was a show where they had lots of different poets and well-known artists come and read poetry. And it was a really amazing experience for me. I'll tell you a little bit after I do the poem what my experience was like doing it in that venue. So this piece is called Hebrew Mamita. I meet a guy in a bar that's cute. He asked me out to dinner for the following Tuesday. I decline. Tuesday's Yom Kippur, I will be fasting. You're Jewish? Wow, you don't look Jewish. You don't act Jewish. And he says it in this tone that sounds like he's complimenting me. And I say nothing. I say nothing which combined with a flirty smile translates to thank you. I say nothing because I'm drunk on denial coladas. I say nothing because I got a contact high of someone's anti-Semitic crack pipe. I say nothing because somewhere along my life's graph, I've been swayed to believe that being Jewish is not too cool, not too sexy. I say nothing because I'm in a deep sleep, a snow-white coma, destined to meet my prince 5 years later in the form of stone in Jerusalem named the Wailing Wall. Our lips press flesh to cool granite. I place folded paper with written prayers for the dead in a nook. In a nook in the wall next to a woman with concentration camp numbers tattooed on her forearm. Surrounded by fervent praying and bodies swaying, I am far more awake than I ever thought possible. I suddenly remembered the exodus of the Israelites, and I walked barefoot from the wall in the desert to the bar and looked for the guy with the duck boots. He's not there, but I have something to say to him. He's not there, but I have a response to his statement. He's not there, so I make a soapbox and reenact the scene. Bartender, tell me I don't look Jewish. Tell me I don't act Jewish, because I'm thinking, I'm saying, what does Jewish look like to you? Should I fiddle on a fucking roof for you? Should I humor you with oy veys and refuse to pay? Oh, because you know how we like to Jew you down. Jew you down, I'd like to throw you down, because I walked here long miles on hot sand to publicly repent my sins, because I almost forgot. 6 million died without having the option of giggling on bar stools. Almost forgot that concentration camp survivors are now a dying generation, that my children may never have the sensation of seeing in person. And if you must see me as that blood-sucking Jew, see me as that pesky mosquito that bites and sucks the prejudice right out of you. Don't get it twisted because you might live in New York City where you can buy knishes at stands for $1.50. We only make up 2.2% of the American population, you see. Many in other parts of the country are not feeling me. I'm not trying to compete in a contest of oppression. Just feel the need to mention the miserable tension I feel in my heart when people say things like, the blacks and the Jews, oh, they just don't get along. Just feel the need to say I can't be the only exception to the rule, just the one right now using my poetry as a tool to maybe change just one heart tonight. Because I'm the Hebrew Mamita, long-lost daughter of Abraham and Sarah, the sexy oy-veying, matzah-eating, chutzpah-having, non-cheaping, non-conspiracizing, always questioning, hip-hop listening, Torah scroll reading, all people loving, pride-filled Jewish girl. Big enough all people who are a little miffed because someone tells you you don't look like or act like your people. Impossible, because you are your people. You just tell them they don't look, period. So I always tell people when I, wrote that piece, I wasn't working in the Jewish community at the time. I was just doing it down at New York Poets Cafe in the East Village at a poetry spot. And I really wrote it for anyone that's told that they don't look like or act like their people. Wrote it from my voice and my experience, but it's really a poem for anyone because I realized a lot of people are stereotyped, and I was happy to know that other people could relate to that experience, just telling it through my story. And it was really interesting because when I started performing it, people were definitely not used to, in the spoken word genre, people talking about being Jewish in that way. If I had planned that, I had no idea that I was doing something different that way. I was just getting up and doing my truth and performing. But it was interesting doing that in the hip hop world, in the spoken word genre, getting up there and doing that. And the greatest thing about doing on Deaf Poetry Jam is that it got to hit people all over the world where I couldn't just do it, in front of them, kind of thing. Has anyone ever been told they don't look like or they don't act like their people? Anyone? Yeah, definitely happens a lot. So the next piece that I'm going to do is a piece that's a short story that I did this morning, and it's about a nice Jewish girl gone awry. It's called Blanquita, which means white girl. I have had only 2 Jewish boyfriends in my life. My mother claims they're both the most un-Jewishy Jews in the world. One was a vegan who denounced circumcision, gave me a book titled Salt the Silent Killer for my birthday, and dragged me down to the Anti-Tax League on Lafayette Street. My mother found the brochures and said, "Enough is enough, Vanessa, I'm putting my foot down." The other un-Jewishy Jew was a drummer, a Palestinian activist whose parents were atheists and alcoholics. But his mother was Jewish, so by Jewish law, I was dating a Jew. My mother doesn't care who I date anymore. I say anymore because maybe she might have once, in the deep forest of her mind, had a minuscule but original blueprint for me. But now she just wants me to meet a nice young man that's not depressed. Depressed is one of my mother's favorite words. It is the reason why everything is everything. The books on our shelves growing up were When You Just Can't Get Out of Bed in the Morning, The Dance of Anger, and On Death and Dying. Now she's anti-self-help books. This life change all happened when my mother started dating Patrick, an Irish Catholic from Connecticut. My grandmother did not talk to my mother for 1 whole month because of Patrick. My mother said, "I had my kids with a nice Jewish guy, and look what he turned out to be, huh? Huh?" My grandmother said nothing. Then she cooked a full-course Syrian dinner for Patrick and only cursed under her breath once when he put ketchup on the sambusak, a fine Arabic pastry filled with kashkabal cheese that was now, as she growled, reduced to a French fry. I never spoke to my grandmother about dating outside my religion, outside my race, outside my age range, outside. Only once did she mention she thought marrying outside would be hard when you decided to have children. I guess she assumed that people who grew up with parents of the same race and religion grew up with no confusion, anxiety, or questioning of the world. Like me, a perfect example of someone who's completely secure and happy. That's a joke, guys. As I said, my mother doesn't care who I date anymore. She just wants me to be happy. I could date a Muppet, and if that made me happy, she'd be happy. I told my mother I was happy when I met Frank, my first boyfriend in Hunter College. I met him on the bridge, the long walkway that connected the 2 main buildings and served as a hangout spot for ambitious lasses like me who were still cutting classes in college. Frank was Dominican, his full name Francisco, a name that always made me think of those explorers that you read about in the 3rd grade. He lived on Dykeman Street in a low-ceiling basement apartment where his dad was a super. He had a pit bull named Cyborg that was housed in a little gated area outside and ate leftover pasteles when dinner was over. Frank was my first real boyfriend. We always held hands, wrote our names in hearts, and went out to Dallas BBQ when he got his Pell check from financial aid. Everyone thought Frank was a real cutie. He used to date this Colombian girl, Damaris from Queens, but Damaris smoked cigarettes and was what Frank called a bochinchera, which I think is kind of like a Spanish yenta. Frank and I used to get pictures taken of us on 42nd Street in front of large airbrushed backdrops adorned with fake Gucci and Louis Vuitton logos. Frank posed gangster style, his arm draped around me while I clutched big stuffed animals. Frank was obsessed with giving me stuffed animals. He gave me stuffed animals for every holiday, every fight we made up from, every season change. They got bigger according to the importance of the occasion. For my birthday, I once got a bear the size of a small adolescent. There were stuffed animals he won from Great Adventure holding metallic balloons that said, "I love you." Stuffed animals with cards around the necks where he filled in the blanks. "Dear Shorty, I love you, Francisco." I gave him stuffed animals with suction cups that stuck to the rear of his car window. Frank had a car, which for a Manhattan girl was so fly, let alone a car with a Dominican flag, a pina colada air freshener, which made me gag, and a glossy bookmark with Jesus Christ on it dangling from the rearview mirror. I watched Mr. Jesus sway from side to side and wondered if he was watching me, if Mr. Jesus thought I was the enemy. Frank and I drove all over the Heights. We drove to Fort Tryon Park and made out in the car. We drove to his boy Ernie's house with a bottle of Cisco and made out on the roof. We drove up to the Chimichurri Chuck and bought, as Frank described them, Dominican hamburgers and lemonade. And we went shopping. But we didn't shop at regular stores. We shopped at apartamentos, apartments that sold clothing, like bootleg CDs. Stolen? Nah, just detour clothes. Gap, Polo, Nautica, Benetton, Coca-Cola, and Armani clothes for half the price of Macy's. On a lucky day, they might even have Timberland boots and Michael Jordan cologne. We sifted through hefty bags, pulling out baggy jeans and goose-down jackets. The fancier apartamentos had makeshift dressing rooms and racks. Merengue blaring, steam hissing. Frank wanted everything orange. I look terrible in orange or anything in the orange family like mustard. I can sometimes get away with a creamsicle hue. Frank tried to convince me to get an orange triple fat goose jacket that pulled in with elastic at the waist. I looked like a fat starburst. But Frank looked amazing in orange. He had that caramel complexion that looked good in every color of the rainbow. Frank would stand in front of the mirror and dance with his projected goods on. That was the only way he could tell if he liked something. He would make the guys, owners, whatever they were, turn off the merengue and put on his tape of hip-hop house from his Walkman, and he'd dance. The guys at the apartamento loved Frank. They'd set aside rugby shirts for him, and when he danced, they'd laugh and serve us coquito, Spanish eggnog in thick crystal glasses. One day, Frank stopped taking me to the apartamento. He had some beef with this guy, Caesar, who said to stop bringing up the blanquitas, the white girls from downtown to the spot, because they didn't want any problems to get DK shut down. Frank got so mad, he whipped a sweatshirt in Caesar's face and said, "You don't know shit about my girl, fuck you and your cheap-ass shop." So Frank never went back to Caesar's apartamento. He found a new one on Dykeman, but he never took me. I remember for weeks I bugged Frank. "You think Caesar thought I was gonna tell someone? Like I was gonna call the cops? Like I'd betray the apartamento mafia?" Frank didn't want to discuss it anymore. "Coño, stop stressing that shit. Stop thinking about that motherfucker before I get heated and crack that hick in his fucking mouth." But I couldn't stop thinking about Caesar. I felt so bad that he didn't see me as a loyal apartamento patron. I was a potential betrayer, a spy. I was a blanquita, and even being Frank's girl could not change that status. Frank's mother, Rosa, only spoke 3 English phrases: "Hi, Vanessa," "thank you," and "Frank no here." Every Saturday night, Rosa would sit on her yellow veloured couch and watch this Spanish TV show I found oddly fascinating called Sábado Gigante. It was like nothing I'd ever witnessed before. It was hosted by a very colorful and apparently popular character named Don Francisco, a 4-hour variety show filled with skits, talent shows, game shows, interviews, and the most gorgeous women dancing in tight sequin clothing I'd ever seen. Like Saturday Night Live, Jerry Springer, The Price is Right, Star Search, Solid Gold, Showtime at the Apollo, all wrapped up in one. Where had this show been all my life? It was amazing. Sometimes when on Saturday nights, Frank would leave me to go driving around with his boys, I would sit with Rosa and watch Sábado. Rosa would bring out plates of warm rice pudding while we played a game of virtual charades in an attempt to communicate. She seemed thrilled to have company. Apparently, for some crazy reason, no one else in the house enjoyed the show. Rosa really liked me, so much so that she gave me a gold crucifix on a delicate chain for Christmas. It came in a bright gold cardboard box. Rosa had slipped it on my chair while I was in the bathroom. But as soon as I pulled away the little cotton mattress that covered it, Frank was livid. "Mierda, mommy, she's a Jewish." "They don't wear crosses, they wear..." "Coño, what do your people wear?" I stammered, well, sometimes a Jewish star." "Si, mommy, un Jewish star." Frank snatched the box and placed it on my rubber placemat. And I don't remember what Rosa said back, but she looked so sad and embarrassed, and I just said, "Frank, it's okay, I like it, it's beautiful." Maybe she didn't know. And then time stopped. I took the crucifix out of the box and had Frank clasp it around my neck. And as the lightning bolts roared, Rosa just beamed. Mira que linda. And there it was, a shiny crucifix dangling around the neck of, was proudly bat mitzvahed at the Society of the Advancement of Judaism. Standing in the mirror in Rosa's powder blue bathroom, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it didn't have Jesus himself on it, no naked body, no wrists or nails, no head of thorns, just a simple feminine gold cross. And I wore it everywhere. I wore it outside with the sun beaming down on my collarbone. I wore it to the bodega and ordered bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll. I wore it to the Hunter dance with Frank, and he had a big, thick rope chain with a cross on it that used to scare my mother. But now we look like such the cutie crucifix couple. I was Frank Shorty. It was my new costume, and I never felt so pretty. The only time I didn't wear it was when I went home. I would religiously, discreetly remove it when Frank hit the windy 96th Street bend off the Henry Hudson. Winter came, and it seemed like Frank spent more and more Saturday nights driving around with his boys. And then, after regularly watching Sábado Gigante with my crucifix and Rosa, the inevitable happened. I began to understand Spanish. This became unfortunately apparent when I heard Frank on the phone with his boy Oscar telling him they were going to all go out to Copa with his girls. "You fucking asshole," I screamed. "You can't understand me," Frank said. "I've been home every Saturday night watching Sábado Gigante with your mother. What did you think would happen?" Frank reached for my arm. "Leave me alone. Déjame tranquila." My God, I was practically fluent. All those hours of walking around with Rosa and Don Francisco and my costume in the Heights had paid off. I eventually broke up with Frank at a McDonald's on 178th Street and Broadway. For 2 months, I thought I might die of heartbreak. Rosa took it just as bad. Turns out for 2 months, she told every girl that called the house, "Frank no here." She even told Frank to tell me I could still come over and watch Sábado with her whenever I wanted. I was tempted. I missed Rosa's rice pudding and Don Francisco's booming voice. It wasn't the same watching it by myself on 88th Street. I took off my crucifix and put it in that private drawer every girl has, alongside condoms, cigarettes, and a naked picture of myself I'd taken back from Frank. I'm sure that's sacrilegious, but it felt like it should be there, amongst things my mother shouldn't find. Thank you. So, one thing I like to tell everyone after that piece is that I didn't know this before I wrote it, but that Don Francisco is Jewish. And I didn't know that when I wrote the story, but it turns out that he was born in Eastern Europe and then his family immigrated to Chile, where he grew up. So that was just a really interesting little tidbit. And now the show is ending, and I still, every time I go somewhere, I'm like, is someone going to introduce me to Don Francisco? And it hasn't happened yet. So just putting the energy out there. Anyone knows him. Don't you think it'd be cool for him to hear that? Yeah. The story? So I'm going to do a little excerpt from my show, Culture Bandit. A lot of the show is kind of talking about what my experience was, some of it growing up on Upper West Side and going to LaGuardia High School. So LaGuardia High School is the school I went to, is like the movie Fame, what it's based on. Yeah, sure. So it's everyone like dancing and on tables and all that stuff. So kind of a little exaggerated. Okay, here we go. This section is called Diamond D. It's LaGuardia High School, and he is dreamy. He sits in front of me in Miss Gittleman's class, and I've memorized every crevice on his head. We call him Diamond D. He has a diamond shaved into the back of his bumpy skull, and his flat top is smooth like a perfectly clipped golf course. Diamond D is a solid gold knuckle ring that runs across 4 of his fingers that says Diamond D. He laughs like Scooby-Doo with a toothy smile. Wears maroon Lee jeans with a perfectly ironed crease down the front, gazelle glasses, and Gucci socks. Every day before the third period, I linger in the girls' bathroom smoking clove cigarettes, hoping he'll be seated by the time I get to class. Then I can pass his desk and study him face forward. He looks at me, barely, then continues chewing on a pen and writing in his notebook. You see, there's just one tiny complication. I'm white and never see Dee hanging out with white people. And to make matters worse, I'm a victim of the antique clothing explosion. I wear flapper dresses and poodle skirts with Doc Marten combat boots and creepers, rhinestone brooches, black rubber bracelets up to my elbow, and at one low point, a black lace cut-off glove a la Madonna. I'll tell my friend Tracy about my love for Diamond D. Tracy's one of my best friends. We met in homeroom. She lives in the Bronx, and her building Patterson houses is mentioned in the KRS-One song. South Bronx, South Bronx, Patterson and Millbrook projects. Kind of an old song. Tracy reads me my daily horoscope and does games with my name and Dee's to see if we were meant to be lovers. Turns out, we're meant to be married with 2 kids and live in a brick mansion. One day at our house, as we were scotch taping more New Edition posters on the wall, I asked her, "Do you think Diamond D will ever notice me?" "Yeah, he just doesn't know that you're a white girl that's down." From that day on, that was my title. White girl that's down. Down, cool. It was a position with no job manual, no training classes. Remember, this is pre-white hip-hop love, pre-Britney Spears with hip-hop background dancers, before Pumas and Adidas were retro. There is another white girl, Mary, who hangs out with all the Puerto Rican girls. She wears tight acid wash jeans, talks with a fake Puerto Rican accent, and tells everyone her dad is 1/16th Dominican. Tracy says it's bullshit and that her father once smacked her in the face when he saw her in Queens Boulevard with her boyfriend, Ricardo. Mary is said to carry a blade and has a particular hatred for me. Tracy says she's just jealous because she has to pretend she's something else to be down, and to make shit worse, she has a flat ass. I am so grateful to have been spared flat ass syndrome. It's true, Mary's ass is flat and wide, and no matter how tight her jeans are, a little material sags. My ass, that all the white boys at Jewish Y sleepaway camp had called fat, is now called healthy. It's round and it pops out in the back, and my thighs, once called blubbery, are now called juicy. The WAP. I have to learn the WAP. It's the freshest dance around, a unisex head bop that molds itself to different personalities. There's the guy with headphones doing the subtle subway platform WAP. There's the WAP with the accompanying hand movement done solo or with a partner in unison. And my personal favorite, the wild WAP that my girl Luciana does. Every time I do it, they say it with a Bon Jovi fan. So lame. Every Friday night we get together at Sandra's house and dance in her living room. Nicole got the slide thing, the Cabbage Patch, the Pee Wee Herman, all the moves in like the first try. I've now developed a spastic over-caffeinated version of the WAP. But Nicole says it's an improvement. You've got moves, Vanna. You just need to have more attitude. Vanna is short for my new nickname, Vanna White. The next night, a house party on 93rd Street. We walk in, the crowd is going WAP crazy. The lights are low, the vibe is playful, sexy, liberating, passionate, raw, and most of all, real. And I feel the WAP in my heart. It says, "You feel me? You feel me?" Then I feel it in my hips. They're saying, "You're beautiful, unconditionally." Then I feel it in my neck. It screams, "Fuck everyone, I'm doing my thing," and I feel more at home than I ever had. Suddenly, I'm in the middle of the dance floor, whopping with Anthony Santiago, and I don't even realize a circle is formed around me. Go Vanessa, go Vanna, go Vanessa, go Vanna. Vanna White whipping up all her fucking cue cards. And I've got a smile, but it's more like a smirk, with attitude, knowing there are few things in the world better than this, doing the WAP with my girls at a house party on 93rd Street. Dee and I begin passing notes in class. He asked me, what are you? Italian, Irish, Jewish, I write. A Sephardic Jew to be exact. But when he asked me if my dad wears those little curls, I think I better stick to explaining Hasidic versus Reform. Dee finally asked me for my digits and starts calling me late at night. I lay restless, phone cradled up to my bosom, listening to 98.7 Kiss, Love Jams, After Dark. Hello? No, I'm not sleeping. He's just come in from the Latin Quarter, said his cousin got him in and they were chilling with the fat boys and practically the whole cast of Crush Groove. Okay, bye. Dee is such a smooth operator. How does he find the time to iron his pant creases and get to first period on time? Sherlock Tracy found out Diamond D is seeing another girl, Michelle Davis. Michelle is tall with smooth skin the color of a Werther's butterscotch candy. Long hair tinted red, sometimes pulled back tight into a gold wire bun holder. Face framed with perfectly curly-cued baby hairs that she smooths down with a toothbrush in the bathroom mirror. Thin eyebrows perfectly arched, cheekbones chiseled like a jaguar, full maroon lips gracefully suck Newports, airbrushed fingernails could easily rake lawns. And she has a great ass. I see them together outside of school, leaning on a cement pillar, a Louis Vuitton bag slung over her shoulder. Dee's drinking Bulch's grape soda, doing that Scooby-Doo laugh in between slurps. Tracy pulls me aside. Don't stare, Vanessa. Yo, she finds out you and Dee are talking, she's gonna go buck wild on your ass. Buck wild on my ass. I picture Michelle going buck wild. Steam ejecting from her nostrils, her little patent leather heels spitting sparks of fire, grinding me in the concrete and finishing me off with a slap of Louis Vuitton leather. I picture the moment she will get the news. Did you hear Dee is talking to that white girl, Vanessa? I stopped sending Dee notes in class. Try looking up at the blackboard, but it's too late. What was once geometry is now hieroglyphics. I scrawl my bubbly Jap handwriting on college-ruled paper to Dee. Do you have a girlfriend? I resist dotting my I with a teardrop. Nah, she used to be my girl, now we're just talking to each other. This talking to each other, is this synonymous for what white people call seeing each other? Are they getting busy or what? Does she know about me? Stop worrying. It's all good. I stop worrying. I continue talking to Diamond D, pretending I'm the only one, imagining us intertwined on a West Side Story fire escape. Dee starts coming over to my house after school. I don't know if it's because of Michelle or because we look like Molly Ringwald meets Slick Rick walking down the street, but our excursions are top secret. We ride the train separately and meet in front of Williams Barbecue Chicken on 86th and Broadway. A quick trip to the liquor store for Pink Andre champagne. Dee never gets carded. And we sip and laugh on my pink flowered bedspread. I put on James Taylor's Country Road, which Dee calls hillbilly music. When we kiss, Dee tastes like green apple now and laters and champagne. Lunchroom, 4th period. Yo, Michelle wants to go behind school with you after school. If you think I'm white now, you have not seen the color drain from this face. Tracy, he told me they were just talking to each other. Don't worry, Bee, if she fucks with you, she'll have to fuck with me first. Tracy begins taking off her jewelry and smearing Vaseline on her cheeks. Tracy, you don't have to do this. Vanessa, I don't mean to diss you, but I think you're out of your league here. Besides, you're my girl, I always got your back. That's the way we roll. In the boogie down. Just jump in if our posse gets stupid. Oh, God. Please don't let the posse get stupid. It's set. The crowd forms at 3:15 behind school. I'm on a bench watching Tracy and Michelle with one eye, Michelle's posse with the other. What? I don't know how, but I know down to the bottom of my Doc Martens that I will jump in if so needed. What? It's over. Tracy comes over with a clump of Michelle's hair in her palm. Let's go. Thanks, Tracy. Stop thanking me, V-girl. You just better come with me to the West Indian Day Festival, and you're letting my mom's tie a little sarong around that fat ass of yours. I went to the festival and held on to Tracy's waist with a bright orange sarong and ate meat patties with orange crust out of tin pans. Tracy was right. It's kind of like a spicy knish. I'm trying hard to stay away from Dee. I know one day we'll be together. It's just not the right time. I know soulmates must sometimes struggle to manifest their destiny. Besides, I'm not sitting around waiting for him to call me anymore. I've been going out myself. Senior year. Don't worry, I've got it all under control. I can still make it to my Sunday morning SAT course straight from clubbing. I don't even know if I want to go to college. I went to visit University of Maryland, and all the white people sit at one table and all the black people at another. It's so whack. Tracy says I should apply to Howard, but my mom says, there are some limits, Vanessa. Whatever. All of a sudden, there are a lot more white people listening to hip hop. White girls are starting to rock gold bamboo triangles in their ears, but Diamond D takes off his knuckle ring. Now he wears leather medallions with the continent of Africa on them. People are starting to call him Ali, and one day he pretends he doesn't see me in the hallway. Turning the corner after lunch, all I caught was a glimpse of his t-shirt with big bold letters reading, "It's a black thing. You don't understand." The red, the black, and the green. 1988, Public Enemy, Jungle Brothers, De La, Louis Farrakhan, Spike Lee, and Big Flavor Flav clocks around necks. The Daisy Age, the golden age of hip-hop. Street corners tabled with African medallions, incense, oils, Malcolm X buttons, and intricately woven hats. Locks and braids replacing flat tops and fades. Extensions out, head wraps in. Another passing t-shirt reads, "Black by popular demand." I cut out an article in the New York Times. Professor Griff of Public Enemy accused of anti-Semitic antics in an interview. Stash it in a drawer, listen harder, longer. Friends off in college taking Black and Puerto Rican studies, learning about the Taino Indians and Marcus Garvey. Me, Hunter College, taking the same courses. Midway through semester, course changes to African American and Latino studies. Next semester, studies of color. My friend Taisha comes over and starts calling every white face on TV a devil. I wonder if she sees little horns busting out of my moose-drenched hair. Not you, she tells me, but a guy on 34th Street with a mic and a black robe says otherwise. He hands her a pamphlet. "Sister, watch them, they're sneaky." Looking straight at me. "Israelites," it says on the pamphlets. "Israelites, Israel, the homeland. I thought I was an Israelite too. I'm confused. Someone tell me what's going on here." I read over Taisha's shoulder on the train. "All Caucasian descendants are the wicked seed on earth according to the Bible. Regardless of what false nationalities they now go by, they are all one nation. They are all Edomites, the wicked descendants of Esau." Shit. This doesn't sound very good. Edomite sounds like termite. Taisha laughs at me but reads on, calls them extreme, but puts their literature in her bag. 1988, a mini-revolution, a witness, not a participant. A mini-revolution, I sit on the edges in anticipation. 1988, a mini-revolution, I see my friends bloom like tulips. 1988, can things get any more difficult in my life? Taisha started talking to this guy, Khalid. She met him in her race, politics, and persistence class at Baruch College. Khalid carried himself like no other man I'd ever met, regal like a sphinx with beautiful skin, perfectly coiled locks, and zero body fat. When Khalid spoke, he never said, yeah, well, or like. Everything that came from his mouth was a clear, definite, and perfectly articulated thought. I always felt like an off-center Carol Burnett character around him. Khalid thoroughly examined everyone and everything in his path. He had a pound for every one of his boys and a well-aimed kiss on the cheek for all of his girlfriends. He was the first to give up his subway seat for pregnant women and say hello to fellow black men that he didn't even know. The epitome of suave strength, love, and fear. I was nervous around Khalid. He didn't look me in the eye. He didn't give me that same hello kiss on the cheek, nodded to me instead, and seemed to always want to be alone with Taisha. I was used to being cool with all my friends' boyfriends, bugging out, puffing an L, all of us going out to a club together. Khalid didn't drink, smoke, go to clubs, or bug out in the slightest way with me. I asked Taisha if he didn't like me, and she just blew me off, telling me to stop worrying so much because it made me look like that crazy bitch that shot Mary Jo Buttafuoco. You guys are too young. One day I met Taisha after school. We were gonna go down to Urban Outfitters. Khalid was outside with her. He was going off to his friend about the teacher of the race class, saying he wasn't stepping up to the plate and that it was a shame that he was just another Uncle Tom. I'd never seen Khalid that perturbed before, playing with his beads and compulsively twisting his locks. Taisha said she had to go to the registrar office, and before I knew it, it was Khalid and I, alone, for the first time. What happened, Khalid? Nothing you'd be interested in. I couldn't take it anymore. What is it about me you don't like? What did I ever do to you? And at that moment, Khalid turned to me, and for the first time, through silence, I could actually see words, exclamation points, paragraphs, and periods spitting from his torso. Taking a deep breath, he exhaled, "Nah, you can't handle this. I'm not going there with you." "Go there," I challenged. And Khalid finally looked me in the eye. You want to know what happened? Why I'm so angry? I'm angry because I'm tired of the shackles around my wrists and feet and the gag in my mouth. I'm tired of black professors being scared to teach reality because they might lose their jobs. The Panthers call people like them bootlickers because even though it's a class about us, it's still ruled by you, them, Caucasians. Caucasian sounds worse than white, like an insect again. I'm tired of so much shit, Vanessa. I'm tired of our neighborhoods being targeted and bombarded with cigarette ads and malt liquor billboards. Billboards with the white man's fingerprints all over it. The white man disguising himself with our people's faces. I bet you don't see a big-ass poster of Billy D drinking Colt 45 on the Upper West Side. Do you know malt liquor has more alcohol in it than regular Bud? Do you know they won't even list its ingredients because God knows what's in there? Everyone's joking around calling this stuff liquid crack. It's no joke. Just look at the names. Colt 45, Magnum, guns. Just look at the size, 40-ounce portions versus the 12-ounce tall boys you guys are drinking. Like drinking a fucking cannon that will blow your head off. My mom is smoking a pack of Newports a day. Yeah, white people are killing themselves with the smoke as well, but who do you think runs the tobacco industry? Well, I'll give you a hint. He's not a shade darker than Elmer Fudd. So don't come to us about killing communities. Go to the source. They don't like our skin black, but they like our lungs blacker than black. So when you see me, Khalid, you see poison? Pause, pause, deathly pause. Vanessa, when I see you, I try not to give you too much thought, because I've got to focus on my own people right now. And no matter how close you and Taisha are, you will never walk in her shoes, and she will never walk in yours. Maybe you can live in this country and believe in liberty and justice for all, but for me to stand up and salute a flag that waved over the colonies that enslaved my people will be a slap in the face to my ancestors. And so you can call me a racist or separatist, whatever you please. I just say I want my hard-earned money, my personal love and energy to go into my people right now. So in terms of what you can do to help, he must have read my face. Nothing. Nothing. This isn't the civil rights movement, blacks and whites linked arm in arm singing, "We shall overcome." This is our revolution now. And when I see a white boy wearing a medallion of Africa around his neck like it's some fashion trend, I ask him to have some respect for my people and take that off. I mean, Vanessa, how would you feel if people with no affiliation to Judaism just started wearing yarmulkes on their heads just to be a part of some fashion trend? I got the point. Besides, Khalid had asked me all rhetorical questions, and that was a good thing, because I have no answers. Khalid walked away. I stood numb, heavy like an X-ray apron had been draped over my chest. Khalid was calling to me. Oh, Vanessa, there is one thing you can do. Educate yourself. Unlike what you learned in school, we have a rich history that began before slavery. And question authority. Always question authority. So as you can see, that was like a very interesting time for me in high school, and it was when, have you guys heard of like Public Enemy and all those like political hip hop groups of that time? So it really shaped the culture of what people were talking about, and I would say that being proud of being a Jew really came from watching my friends of Black and Latino communities becoming proud of their background, which a lot of people don't know, but all my friends were just really becoming politicized and really finding out who they were and going to all these meetings and stuff, and it really forced me to look at who I was and say, well, what's my background, and can I really go into my history and then also love other cultures? So it was a really interesting time for me. And I know it's really dated, but I hope you guys were able to get something from it. Okay, we're gonna do like 2 more pieces and switch to something a little bit more fun. I did this morning. So this is for anyone out there who's just gotten a little bit too hung up on someone. I'm the only one. You guys are amazing. Okay. So I have, but at least I got a poem out of it. If I counted up all the hours I've studied, read, focused on, cried over, gotten up and been resilient about, not given up on, believed in, loved, hated, so believed in, ignored my friends' advice about, talked about, did I mention talked about? I'd have a PhD in him. By now I could have had a PhD in philosophy, internal medicine, Middle Eastern studies, stem cell research, but no, I have a PhD in him. Funny how he brings me no income, no pension, no future. Did I mention no future? Funny how he brings me no Roth IRA funds, no medical plan, including dental. No sense of security. Funny how he became my career. Yes, he became my career, my daily ambition, my goals, my homework. My to-do list today reads him. So don't ask me what I did this year. I didn't write any plays or any books. I didn't do some responsible shit like pursue a backup career. I was fully employed in the fury of him. The fury, the passion, clocking in 80-hour weeks, graduated valedictorian at the tippy top of my class, magna cum fucking laude, and a waste of fucking time. Hours upon hours spent figuring out his equations, riddles, word problems, crossword puzzle treatment, cracking his codes, philosophizing his constitution over Grand Marnier, wine, vodka. Oh, did I mention vodka? By now I could have been a brain surgeon, a novelist, a Pulitzer Prize winner. I could have fed undernourished children, fought terrorism, volunteered at soup kitchens. Fuck that, built soup kitchens. But instead, I have a PhD in him. Wasted hours in the library of man. So quiz me, I know him better than he knows himself. I'm that matriculated doctorate hoe, paid full tuition at It's All About Him University. Ladies, have you visited? I'm actually asking you. Ladies, have you visited? See, they pat you down at the gates for self-esteem, and your course syllabus is a well-crafted list of cockamamie lies. Study hard, bitches. You got a paper due Monday morning titled, My Man Wants to Be Treated Like a Man But Won't Act Like One. Who's hiring? Any other fools want to sit in my lecture hall? See, I'm licensed to teach and preach, sparing my pride and hope some other women read my dissertation. See, I have a PhD in him and my transcript is rolling off my wicked tongue. Not sure of how my most difficult degree might serve me, but think one day I'll thank him for reminding me how fierce a pupil of life I really am. another piece about women. This is called Wild Women. For all you crazy, loud, fiery, passionate, romantic, stubborn, angelic, smart, talented, pulling your fucking hair out, wild child, artist women out there, this is for you. I am you, you are me, we are fire. We are high heels and hoodies, we are belly laughs and risk, we are classy yet silly, we are wild. Not every guy is for us. We attract ones who are initially enthralled by our spice, but then become suddenly scared of our prickle. We are not perfect, and in case anyone didn't know, we know this. Sometimes our cup runneth over with passion. Sometimes we use our hands in overly loud gestures from whatever culture we hail. But unfortunately, dear lovers, we cannot be spice to your particular tongue. You must swallow us whole. We know we confuse you. One moment we exude sass, the next we purr with sweet kisses, part playful girl, part wise woman, money makers, vision masters, mothers love us, polite and smart, your boys think we're mad cool, we can hold a conversation with anyone, anywhere, Madonna whore, we got it covered. Men can't believe God created women this diverse, so they suspect it's a trap. They turn us upside down and shake us, trying to see if a clue will fall from our beautiful mouths. Dumbfounded, many crawl away. This pains us deeply. We feel pain and joy like knife strokes on bellies. But we must let them walk. They will never forget us, but they can't hang with us. We go hard. We end up with the men that are smart enough to know they found the winning ticket and they are cashing in quick. They are never the men we pictured ourselves with. Their strength is ninja-like, chill, familiar, secure, like summertime stoops. In the past, we always fell for dark alleyways. But even you, dear ticket holder, might get a guide to our species' habits. Here goes. We are fiercely loyal, sometimes to a fault. Hands will be bit if you mess with our kin or man. We argue with our girlfriends, then make up with them crying. We all have at least one crazy friend in our clan that we've known forever that might crash on our couch for a night. Okay, maybe a week. They are family. They come with the package. Some nights, just out of nowhere, we'll bust out crying and you'll say, "What the hell happened? You were fine a minute ago." And we'll say, "I don't know, I just needed to fucking cry, okay?" We just need you to be there. Then we'll go sing, dance, paint, or write, and fuck you like you never know what hit you. We think that's fair exchange for a minor flip out. Just because we are divas, doesn't mean we aren't old-fashioned and domestic. Our strength doesn't excuse you from chivalry and Valentine's Day. We are girly, feminine, hopeless romantics. We want doors opened, we cook and clean if we feel it's deserved. Remember, we are doers, not followers. We want to be claimed, but not owned. We know our unruly asses sometimes need to be lassoed in. We want you. Our capacity to socialize is nothing you've ever seen the likes of. Don't be alarmed by our tolerance to liquor, coffee, smoking, food. We are made of some other shit. We carry grown-ass men out of bars and kick amateur girls to the curbs. But if you get drunky girl one night, don't be surprised. Sometimes we slip. That's all for now. We appreciate your patience and passion. We know it's complicated, but you seem like a quick study. My wild, crazy, unruly, artsy, fiery, sweet, smart, talented sisters, I am you, you are me. We are not for everyone, but we live vigorously. Carry on. So when guys hear that poem, they're like, I'm so confused. I don't know, you're so many different things. Yes, it's complicated, very diverse. Does anyone have any, I'm gonna stop here for a little questions and then I'm gonna go out with another piece or two, but I just wanna see if anyone has any questions they wanna ask me about any of the work I did, about what I do, anything? Yes?
What was the name of that piece, the one you just said?
Wild Women. Anyone else, any questions? Yes?
I guess, what does your writing process or creative process look like?
Right. That's a good question. I ask myself that all the time. You know, I'm not one of those people that, though I should sit down every single day to write, but usually what I will do is create a deadline for myself. I only really write with deadlines. So I'll book a show and say, okay, I'm doing this show on this night, and I have to have new pieces for this. And then the days will start rolling by, and I'll start freaking out so much that it will actually get done. I know that's not a great process, but it's like the torture procrastination process, but that's what I do. And I usually go out of my house to write. If I'm in the house, I get very distracted by like television, food, and napping. So I usually go to like a coffee place and sit down and like just, some people, for them the noise bothers them, but for me it actually keeps me inspired and awake like to do that. And I usually, you know, a lot of times I'll have an idea about something and the piece won't be formed yet, but I'll just kind of write it down, and then maybe like 2 years later, all of a sudden that piece will come to life. You know what I mean? Like I have the idea in my head and I'm like, oh, but I don't know what it is yet. And then later on it will come, I'll do a short piece of something later that happened from that. So that's my process in that way. Yeah.
Roughly when were you in high school and college? I was trying to get an idea of that through a couple months earlier.
Are you trying to ask me how old I am?
I heard 1988.
Yes, I graduated then. Yes, I know, it's a long, long time ago. Yeah, so that was like a really, you know, that's what I was talking about, that the time of it is very important in that way, that the climate of what was going on really does make a difference. Even when I wrote that piece, I would have never thought that we would have a Black president, that like all those things that, you know, have happened, like even since I wrote that. But I think it was important for me, at least, to have that experience of sometimes being like the insider outsider. So that piece is important in my journey of talking about race and culture and things of that sort. I know that wasn't your question, but I'm just adding little frills to it to distract from my age.
Do you use real names of people that you have known?
I did, well, actually, I was caught this morning. The Blanquito story, like Frank, that really is his name, and I just don't think he's ever gonna find me. But if he does, I don't think it's so bad. You know what I mean? I was like, that's not really a bad thing. But other ones, I do change names of people, and even though there are sometimes people who probably know it's about them, and oh well, what are you gonna do? You know? So, I mean, that's kind of like a thing, like in the spoken word scene. It's like people break up and then they all like write poems about each other, and there's always like some guy in the back like, should have never been with a poet. Never been with a poet. So yes, I'm guilty of that. But I, you know, try to do that and definitely change names. Yeah.
When you sit down to write, who are you writing for?
Good question. Well, you know, I definitely don't feel like I'm writing for myself, even though I know that would be like a really zen answer. But I feel as though I try to write stories and things that I feel like are my personal experiences, but I want to make sure that other people can relate to them, so it doesn't just come off as like a Dear Diary entry of that what I think is so. And there is stuff that I write that I'm like go off like some rant. And then I'll read it back, and it's just really me, like, kind of complaining. And I'm like, you know what, this isn't really art. This is just, like, you complaining about stuff. So I try to find stories and thoughts that other people can resonate with. And how I might do that is kind of picking up and listening to conversations. So, for example, PhD and him, you know, that was from years of being with my friends, like and I think a lot of females, and maybe, you know, men relate to this too, but I mean, just talking for hours and hours on the phone, analyzing something a guy did, and then all of a sudden having this like realization that I could be like fluent in Japanese with all the time that I spent doing that. I was like, holy shit, like women, we spend so much time on this. So it was like really like terrifying, but also funny. but also something that I knew other people, or I hoped other people could relate to. And then you have to just kind of take the risk and try it. And there's some stuff that it's not as relatable, and I'm like, kind of, go back and fix it. So I'll do something one night, and then a line that I thought was like hysterical, the next day I'm like, well, that didn't work too much, so cut that out. So that happened. Yeah.
So what started your interest in spoken word?
What started my interest in spoken word? Well, I got my master's in acting at a conservatory, so really for me, acting was the whole, track that I was on. But what happened was, when I was doing the acting, I found it really hard to cast myself. Like, people would always like, well, come up with a monologue that's like your, back pocket monologue that really represents you. And it was always so hard for me to find that, so I started writing monologues for myself. And I would go to auditions and I wouldn't tell people that I wrote them. Like, I was just writing something that I thought was for me, because I didn't think that it was I didn't at that time think that it was like cool to also be a writer, actress. Like, I thought I just wanted people to see me as a actress. And then so I started writing these monologues and things like that. And then I went to go see, Deaf Poetry Jam was just coming out, and they were doing a show at this museum in Brooklyn, and I went to go see the performance, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. This combines my love of like hip hop and my love of monologue and poetry, and also being able to not have to be in a mold of casting. Like, for me, the whole acting world of like showing up to an audition and having to look a certain way, like, even if on the outside I looked that way, like I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Like, it made me so crazy. So I was like, oh, I can talk about things that I care about, that I'm passionate about. I can be fat, I could be thin, I could be this, I could be that. No one's like on top of me, like telling me what to look like. And it was such a relief to have that. I was like, oh, okay, now I can just do my art. And so I think that that's how it came about. So it just kind of unfolded. Anyone else? Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, have you ever featured any of your pieces or samples on any songs or anything?
Yes, I did actually. There's a Ladino singer, Sarah Aresti, do you know her stuff? And Wild Women, I did, she's singing and then I come in. I don't know, it's always really weird for me. I always feel, because a lot of my stuff is funny, so it's always weird to hear me like, Wild Women, like, I don't know. It's always like, I always feel like, like a lot of poets like to have like jazz bands behind them and stuff, and I always just feel like Lucille Ball. Like, I'm like, this is weird, I don't know, I'm too quirky for this. But I did do that, and I actually really liked the way that one came out.
What was the name of that singer?
Sarah Aresti, Aroeste. I can give you my card afterwards, and I can email it to you.
Okay.
If you're that interested. I mean, it's like the extra mile, but yeah. Anything else before we finish up? Yeah.
I read this quotation once that said like, a poem isn't really done, you just stop. And since you do spoken word, so since it can be so like fresh, how does that work for you if that happens?
Keeping it fresh in that way?
Or like, do you change your work every time you say it, or do you just keep it the way it is?
I would say I pretty much stick to the script. Like, I'm one of those people that I pretty much stick to what I wrote. But over the years, pieces will morph. Like, there's some lines that I wrote years ago that I'm like, no, that's old Vanessa. It's kind of corny. Like, we're gonna take that out now. You know what I mean? Like, you change as a writer, and so there's some things that you change. But I would say my performing of it changes. I do a lot of the same like movements and stuff, but that story Blanquita that I did, that has changed so much. Like, I keep finding little nuggets in it that I didn't have at first, and it's actually, by me finding that, there were lines that I wrote that the audience never got, and that now people are getting because I finally learned how to perform it, if that makes sense. Like, my writing was ahead of it, and I just was like, oh, I need to learn how to do that. So, and then I really take in whoever, like that Hebrew Mamita poem I've done so many times. I could do that, like sleepwalking, like I could do that anywhere after not sleeping for like 12 years. So, but I try to keep it fresh by thinking about who I'm doing it for. So that's like my job as a performer to keep it fresh for you guys. So I'm not just like, pumping it out, as they say. Yeah.
Is how did you develop your style, or who has influenced your style the most?
Develop what? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear
Your
you.
style of spoken word.
I think it came from, people always say that they don't like listen to other people to do that, but I definitely believe that you have to listen to a lot of people and then find your own style. So I listen to a lot of people, but like I said, my style was always there are a lot of spoken word artists that are a lot more rhyming than me. Like I don't rhyme that much. Some of my work does, but they're very rhymey, or they do a lot of wordplay, like playing on all the different ways of working. Who are masters of that. That's not really me. I'm more of a storyteller, and I think that just comes from my work, acting and stuff. And so mine is more prosy, though it will have moments in it of more like what is considered slam poetry. So I would say that I just kind of kept, developing that and not being scared of it, because there was a while that I felt like everything had to kind of be a certain way and also had to have a certain subject matter, like, that I was like, it has to be political, and it has to be this, or people are not going to be into it, and then I just started writing goofy things, and I was like, oh well, I'm just going to be the goofy one, kind of doing that, and it worked, but I had to trust my voice in that way. And not everyone's going to like it all the time. There's people who like completely different styles. Okay, so I'm going to finish off with, just because I said I was going to do that thing, so, this is so weird. I can't believe I'm just doing this out of context, but I don't really care. I'm talking in my head, you guys. Okay, so for example, I had this idea of this girl's like voice in my head, and I wanted to write about it, but I didn't know how I was going to do it, so I kind of just like put down a mental note in my head that I wanted to write something about this. And then I wrote about wedding season, which I kind of hate. So just a little bit. It's wedding season. Woo-hoo! I go to a wedding today in Westchester where every bridesmaid gives a speech with what I call the jaw voice. So the jaw voice has become my new suburban girl pet peeve. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard any girls that talk like this, but the jaw voice is like this. Hi, I'm Jax. I'm Jax. It's all in the jaw like this and everything. I'm Jax. I'm Jax. So every speech went like this for 2 hours. The wedding. Allie. I can't believe your day has come. I know you thought it would never happen. Josh is so lucky to have you, and we hope he knows he's now adopting a bunch of sisters as well. I made this collage for you with all our pics from camp and our trip to Club Med. Because what happens in Club Med stays in Club Med. Anyway, we love you. And we know you thought you'd never find the one. But you said by 30, you were gonna have the husband and the career. And you did it. By 27, with 3 years to spare. We can't wait for little Allie to be on the way soon, because everyone knows when Allie says she's gonna do something, she does it. My God. I promised I wouldn't get emotional. So I'm just gonna leave you with our little favorite quote. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is gonna be all right. Allie, I love you. Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna end on one quick piece that usual closer, and it's for anyone that has ever imagined, what if they were someone else who could find their script? Okay. What if? What if I was a different kind of girl? Quiet, tame, knew my place, shut the fuck up, didn't let my tongue get loose after whiskey, didn't say pussy on stage. What if I quit performing, became religious, wore an Orthodox wig, chopped cucumbers for Shabbat? What if the Orthodox rejected me because I had a busted hymen and a head full of crazy thoughts? What if I believed I was beautiful, focused on the 4 guys who wanted me and not on the one who clearly doesn't? What if I hadn't laid in his bed like a heroin addict when he said he didn't want me? What if I had the self-love to walk the fuck out? What if I had the same strength with men that I do on stage? What if I didn't beat myself up for slipping, falling, wanting, fucking, eating, grabbing, loving? What if I was a groupie? What if I watched men perform and thought they were gods? What if I didn't have more fans than him? Would that make me more feminine? Would you love me then, claim me then, fuck me then, feel more manly then? What if I was 22? What if commitment was not in my near future? Would that make me more desirable, less complicated, less intense, more digestible to you? What if I'm confessed? I'm one of those chicks that likes to be fucked with hair pulled, thrown up against a wall, then wants to go out to brunch with your mom the next morning. Would you rather I just lay there on my back like a snow angel, a virgin, a puff of cotton, and wasn't woman enough to tell you how I like it? What if I didn't ever talk dirty in your ear, baby? What if I was young, fresh, and green? Would that make you want to keep me, cherish me, marry me? Make you want me to be the mother of your first son? What if I was one of those cold bitches that played harder to get, cheated on them, made them pay for everything because I didn't have my own career? Would I bring out the hunter in him, make me an irresistible damsel in distress? What if I was tiny, so tiny, 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 he could fit a bracelet on my thigh, he could slip me in a glove compartment, he could carry me on his shoulders like a toddler? What if I never thought about race or politics? What if I was one of those white girls that only hung out with other white girls that did white girl things in white girl land? What if I just dated my own kind, played by the rules? What if I didn't know more Spanish than Hebrew? Yeah. What if I was more traditional, like that? What if you took me all grown-up woman, a freaky loving girl gone batshit crazy with a master's degree and a mic, talking smack out the side of my mouth? What if, oh my God, guys, what if I wasn't even really Jewish after all? What if after this whole Hebrew Mamita stint, I was really a Dutch baby? Yeah, what if I was suddenly Catholic, bought him a rosary, we baptized a little baby like in the Godfather movies? Would he connect with me more? Would I not seem so Jewy, so loud, pessimistic, neurotic, so sarcastic, so, Jewy? What if I came with a warning label? Heart might explode upon abandonment. Would you have left me on the shelf before you turned me out? What if I didn't have to worry how you will all see me after you hear this poem? Didn't worry you'll think I'm an exploding mess of a dish? What if I could just own this delicious finger-licking madness that is me? What if I told you I'm fine, just a female hunchback, a grotesquely honest heart as my hump? What if I was myself, and that was good enough? Oh. Thank you guys so much for coming. My website is mamita.com. I have some cards with me if you wanted to pick one up, and I really thank you all for being such a great audience. I appreciate it.